The silent room. Keanu Reeves sat alone in a quiet room, staring at the floor. It had been 47 days since he last said anything. Not a single word, not a whisper. The people around him had tried. They brought food, letters, even laughter, but nothing touched him. He was gone somewhere deep inside himself, far from the noise of the world. The walls were white, too white. The kind of white that makes your heart ache. A clock ticked softly in the corner, and the sound was like water dripping in an empty cave. It echoed too much. Everything did outside the window. The sky was gray, not stormy, not calm. It's just stuck in between. Like him, he hadn't meant to disappear like this. It wasn't planned. It just happened. One morning he woke up and the light felt too heavy. Words felt too sharp. So he stayed quiet. And then he just stayed. Everyone thought he was healing. From something. Some said it was a broken heart. Others whispered about burnout. A few even said maybe he had given up. But the truth was simpler. He didn't know why he stopped talking. He just couldn't find a reason to start again. The days rolled on. Slow, quiet, empty. Until the day Armas walked in. She didn't knock. She didn't ask permission. She just opened the door, holding a paper bag and 2 coffees. Her eyes scanned the room, soft but strong. She didn't look scared. She didn't look worried. She looked ready. "You look terrible," she said with a gentle smile. Placing the bag on the table, Keanu didn't move. Anna sat across from him and pulled out a warm croissant. The smell of butter and almonds filled the room. She took a bite and chewed slowly, like it was the most important thing in the world. Then she sipped her coffee and looked him in the eye. "I know you don't want to talk," she said quietly. "So I'll talk for both of us." And she did. She came back the next day, and the next. Every time she brought something simple. A book, a story, a memory. She told him about the time she got lost in Rome and ended up dancing with an old lady in the street. She told him about the dog she almost adopted, the one that bit her finger and then fell asleep in her lap. She told him about dreams she had when she was 12 and the ones she was scared to dream now. Sometimes she cried, sometimes she laughed. Sometimes she just sat there and said nothing, because even silence can be shared. Keanu listened at first. It was just noise, a soft background hum that didn't matter. But slowly her words started to pull on something inside him, like a thread, wrapped tight around his chest. Each day she came, that thread loosened, just a little. On the 10th day, she brought a drawing. "I made this when I was 7, she said. "It's terrible. But it made my mom cry when I showed her. She said it looked like hope." Keanu glanced at it. It was a simple picture of a house with smoke curling from the chimney. The sun had a smile. The sky was blue. The little girl stood. In the yard, holding a stick that was supposed to be a dog, Anna placed it on the table and slid it toward him. "Do you remember what hope feels like?" she asked. He blinked. Once Anna smiled. Good blinking is a start. That night, Keanu didn't sleep. Stared at the ceiling for hours, thinking about that drawing, about the smiling sun, about the way Anna said the word hope like it was. Something real, something you could touch. He didn't speak the next day, or the next. But on the 14th day, when Anna sat down and said, "I don't know why I keep coming here. Maybe I'm the one going crazy," something changed in his chest. He looked up and said one word. "Don't."
Anna froze.
"Don't." "Stop," he said, voice rough and dry from disuse. A tear rolled down her cheek. She didn't wipe it away. "Okay," she whispered. From that day, the silence didn't feel as heavy. It wasn't gone, but it had a crack in it. And from that crack, light started to slip through. Keanu still didn't say much. But when Anna laughed, he smiled. When she talked about fear, he nodded. When she read from a book, he leaned forward. They didn't talk about the pain yet. Not his, not hers. They talked about small things. Soup recipes, broken shoes. The time Anna saw a shooting star and made a wish that never came true. One day she asked, "Do you still wish for things?" Keanu thought about it. Then he said, "I used to." "What stopped you?" she asked gently. He didn't answer, but Anna didn't push. just reached across the table and took his hand. It was the first time anyone had touched him in weeks. He didn't pull away that night? Keanu dreamed for the first time in months. It wasn't a good dream, but it wasn't a nightmare either. It was memory. Flashes of laughter. A voice he missed. The smell of rain on pavement. He woke up with tears on his cheeks, and for once he didn't feel ashamed. The next morning, he was already sitting up when Anna walked in. She paused in the doorway. Something was different. "You're awake early," she said, surprised. "Couldn't sleep?" He replied, voice steadier this time. She smiled. "Coffee, please." Handed him a cup. They sat together in silence for a while. Then Keanu spoke again. "Thank you." Anna tilted her head. "For what?" He looked at her. "For not giving up," she nodded. Double quotes. "I couldn't," she said. "Not on you." And in that moment, something broke open inside Keanu. Not in a painful way. More like a wall that had been standing too long. It fell, and behind it was air. Clean, fresh, full of possibility. They talked for hours that day, about pain, about loss, about the quiet sadness that sometimes takes over and won't let go. Anna didn't judge. She didn't offer quick fixes. She just listened. And for the first time, Keanu felt like maybe, just maybe, he wasn't broken beyond repair. Outside, the sky turned blue. Not a perfect blue, but real. Just like hope. The broken window the next morning was warm. Not the kind of warm that makes you sweat. It's the kind that touches your skin gently and says you made it through the night. Keanu sat by the window with a cup of tea. The glass was cracked near the bottom, a small spiderweb line like an old scar. He had never noticed it before. Maybe because he had never looked. Oh, maybe because only now he was starting to see again. Anna came in quietly, carrying a folded blanket and 2 oranges. "You were here? Early," she said. "I couldn't sleep again," Keanu replied. She handed him an orange. "Me neither." They peeled their oranges slowly, the scent rising into the air. Sweet, sharp. Real Keanu asked something he hadn't asked in a long time. "What kept you up?" Anna looked down at the fruit in her hands. "Memories," she said softly. "Some nights they sneak in, loud and rude." Keanu nodded. "Mine too." Anna gave him a sideways glance. "What do yours say?" He thought for a while. "They say I failed. That I lost too much. That I don't deserve another chance." Anna didn't argue. She didn't say he was wrong. Instead, she said, "Do you believe them?" Keanu didn't answer. "I used to believe mine," she said, "especially after my brother died. I thought maybe if I had called that night, he wouldn't have gotten in that car. I told myself it was my fault." Keanu looked at her surprised. "I never knew you had a brother." "Don't talk about it," she said. "It still hurts, but talking about it makes the hurt feel less heavy." They sat quietly after that, both staring at the cracked window. Keanu finally asked, "How do you live with it?" Anna smiled, small and sad. "You don't live with it. You live beside it. You make space for it at your table, but you don't feed it every day." That stayed with Keanu. He didn't say anything else that day, but later, when Anna left, he looked at the cracked glass again, traced the line with his finger, and whispered, "I see you now." And somehow that helped. The days began to blur, but not in the way they used to. They weren't empty anymore. They had color, texture, breath. Anna started bringing paints, old ones, the kind that smelled like childhood and sun-dried paper. "I want you to paint something," she said. Keanu raised an eyebrow. "Me?" he asked. Double quotes, "Yes, you." "It doesn't have to be good. Just honest." "What if I don't know what to paint?" "Then paint that." So he did. His first painting was a single dark shape, not a person, not a place. It's just a shape that curled in on itself like a shell. Anna didn't say anything for a long time. Then she whispered, "It looks like fear." "Maybe it is," Keanu said. She kissed his cheek. "Then it's beautiful." They painted every morning after that. Sometimes shapes, sometimes faces, sometimes just colors. And slowly, Keanu's world opened wider. He found himself humming, small notes, almost like breathing. He didn't notice at first, but Anna did. "You're making music," she said one afternoon. Double quotes. "No, I'm not." He laughed. "Yes, you are." "It's coming back." Keanu tilted his head. "What is you?" One evening Anna didn't come. Keanu waited, an hour, then two. The sky turned orange, then purple. He told himself she was busy, maybe stuck in traffic, maybe forgot. But the hours stretched too long. He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, still nothing. He paced the room, trying not to panic. The fear came fast, hot, tight, like a hand around his throat. By the third day, he couldn't wait anymore. He left the house. His legs felt weak. The sun was too bright. The city was too loud. But he kept walking, step by step. He went to the cafe, where they used to meet before all this, one with the crooked chairs and the grumpy barista. She wasn't there. He checked her favorite. Bookstore. Empty. He stood on the corner of her street and stared at her door. What if something happened? What if he was too late? What if she needed him now? His hand shook as he rang the bell. No answer. He waited. Finally the door opened. Anna stood there, pale and tired, eyes red from crying. "Keanu," she said, voice thin. "Where were you?" He asked. Anna stepped aside. "Come in." He followed her in and saw her small apartment. Books on the floor, dishes in the sink, and a photo on the table, her and her brother, smiling. "I had a hard week," she said. "The anniversary came. Thought I was ready, but I wasn't." Keanu sat beside her. "You should have told me. I didn't want to drag you down." He shook his head. "You lifted me when I was low. Let me do the same." Anna's eyes filled with tears. She leaned into him, and he held her, for the first time. He was the one who stayed strong. That night, they didn't speak much. They just sat together, watching an old movie and sharing a blanket. When Anna finally fell asleep on his shoulder, Keanu looked down at her and whispered, "Thank you." He didn't sleep much. He just sat there, protecting her the way she had protected him. Something had shifted. He was no longer just healing. He was growing, and he knew then that the story wasn't about him being saved anymore now. It was about saving each other. The next day they walked through the park. The leaves were golden. Little breeze made them dance. Keanu looked up and smiled. "I think I want to live again," he said. Anna didn't speak. She just reached for his hand, and he didn't let go. The long walk back to morning was quiet again, but this time it felt peaceful. Not heavy, not empty. Just still. Keanu stood in front of the mirror. He hadn't done that in a while. His face looked older than he remembered, more tired, but also softer. Something in his eyes had changed. They weren't full of fog anymore. They had light. Not a fire, but a small candle, steady, alive. Anna was waiting downstairs with 2 backpacks. "We're going on a walk," she said. "A walk?" "Yes, somewhere far. You and me? No phones, no schedule. Just sky and steps." Keanu smiled. "Why?" "Because sometimes the long way is the only way back to yourself." He didn't ask questions. He just nodded. They left the city by noon. Walking past busy streets and honking cars, past glass towers and crowded corners. The noise followed them at first, but it grew quieter the farther they walked. Soon, they were on an old path lined with trees, and the only sound was the crunch of leaves beneath their feet. Keanu breathed in. The air smelled like pine and something old. "I used to come here when I was young," Anna said. "My father brought me. We used to camp by the lake." Keanu looked at her. "What happened to him?" "He left," she said. "When I was 9. Never said goodbye." He didn't speak. Anna smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Some people leave, Keanu.
Hey.
Just do. And sometimes they take pieces of you with them. He looked ahead. "Did he take a piece of you?" "Yes," she said. "But I took it back." They walked in silence for a while. The wind brushed their faces. Birds flew overhead, singing like they had no worries. After an hour they reached the lake. It was quiet and still, like glass. The sky reflected perfectly on the water. Clouds moved slowly, and the trees stood tall around it, like old friends watching from the edge. Anna sat on a rock and took off her shoes. Keanu did the same. They dipped their feet into the water, cold, sharp. Real. Do you miss him? I asked. Softly, every day, she said. Even now, even now. Keanu nodded. Double quotes, I miss someone too, he whispered. Who? He looked at the water and his voice cracked. My sister Anna didn't say anything. She waited. Keanu swallowed hard. She died before I could say goodbye. I was shooting a film in another country. I missed the call, missed the funeral, and I never forgave myself. Anna reached for his hand. You don't have to carry that alone, she said. Keanu looked at her, tears in his eyes. But I do. I left her behind, just like your father left you. No, Anna said gently. You didn't leave her. You just couldn't be there. It's not the same. They sat there until the sun dipped behind the trees. The lake turned gold. The shadows stretched long. That night, they lit a small fire by the water. Anna told stories about her childhood, how she used to make up songs, how she believed stars were holes in the sky where the light came through. Keanu shared memories too. His sister's laugh, her obsession with old books, how she used to leave notes in his shoes for fun. They laughed. They cried. When the fire burned low, they lay on the ground side by side, watching the stars above them. Do you think people become stars? Keanu asked. I don't know, Anna said, but I'd like to think they're watching. Then I hope she sees me now, he whispered. She does, Anna said, resting her head against his shoulder. The next few days passed in a soft rhythm. They walked. They rested, cooked simple meals on a small stove. They shared quiet. Mornings and long talks under the sky, but healing isn't always a straight line. On the 5th day, it rained. Heavy, loud, cold. They took shelter under an old wooden cabin in the woods. Water dripped through the ceiling. The firewood was damp. Everything felt damp. Anna sat in the corner, wrapping herself in a blanket. Keanu stared at the wall, his thoughts swirling. I don't think I can go back, he said. Back where? Anna asked. To life. To the world. I don't think I'd belong there anymore. Anna looked at him, her face serious. You're wrong. I don't know how to act like nothing happened. You don't have to, she said. But you can't. Hide forever. Keanu shook his head. I'm tired of pretending, of carrying pain like it's armor. Anna stood, walked to him, and sat down beside him. Then don't carry it alone. He looked at her. What if it comes back? He asked. The silence, the darkness. Anna touched his hand. Then I'll come back too. The rain slowed. The air grew still. Keanu leaned his head against her shoulder and let himself rest. On the 7th day, they reached the edge of a cliff that overlooked the valley. Green hills stretched far below, dotted with trees and rivers that shimmered. In the light, this is where I come when I need to breathe, Anna said. It's beautiful. So are you, she said. Keanu looked at her. You don't have to say that. I don't have to. I want to. His eyes filled with tears again, but this time they didn't hurt. They felt like rain after a long drought. Anna stepped closer. Keanu, she whispered, you are not broken. You are becoming. And just like that, he believed her, even if only for a moment. And sometimes, a moment is enough. On their way back, they passed a small shop by the roadside. Keanu stopped. Inside, he bought a notebook. Plain, brown cover. Empty pages. Anna raised an eyebrow. What's that for? It's my story, he said. You're going to write it? I think I need to. Then I'll read every word, she smiled. Keanu nodded, 1 page at a time. They walked on. City waited in the distance. But this time, it didn't feel like a prison. It felt like a beginning. The echo of Stepsy returned to the city just before sunset. The streets were louder than Keanu remembered. Horns, voices, footsteps, it all came in waves. But this time, it didn't feel like it was crashing into him. It moved around him like he had become a part of the rhythm, instead of drowning in it. Anna walked beside him, her eyes scanning every corner like she was seeing it all again for the first time. "Does it feel different?" she asked. Keanu nodded. "It feels possible." They walked back to his apartment. The building was the same, the cracked window still there. But the air inside felt warmer, lighter. Not because the space had changed, because he had Anna placed, her bag down near the door. "I should go home," she said. Keanu turned to her. "You could stay. I don't want to take up space." "You already have," he said. "And I'm glad." Anna smiled softly. "Just one night," he nodded. "One night." They sat on the floor and ordered noodles. Cheap, greasy, perfect. They ate with chopsticks, laughing at how badly they both struggled. Sauce dripped, noodles slipped. But it didn't matter. Keanu put on a record. Soft jazz filled the room like gentle waves. He watched Anna as she swayed to the music, her eyes closed. Lost in it, he didn't speak. He didn't have to. The next morning, Anna was gone. Keanu woke up to a note on the kitchen table. "I had to. Go take care of something. I'll be back. Don't disappear on me." Unahi folded the note and placed it in his journal. Then he sat down and began to write. Not about the pain, not yet. He wrote about her, the way she smiled when she didn't want to, the way she held silence like it was something holy, the way she brought oranges, paints, fire, and light. He wrote for hours, pouring each word like water into the cracks of his soul. When he looked up, it was almost noon. He got dressed outside. The sky was clear. He walked to the coffee shop they had visited long ago. The same. Grumpy barista was there. "You look different," the barista said. Keanu smiled. "Maybe I am." He ordered 2 drinks, one for him, one for her. He waited. Anna didn't come. He waited longer. Still no sign. He pulled out his notebook and wrote. Again, this time about waiting. About hope. About how sometimes love isn't loud or bright. It's just someone showing up again and again until you believe you're worth showing up for. Hours passed. The cup across from him grew cold. He took it home. When Anna still didn't return by nightfall, something in him stirred an ache. He hadn't felt in a while. Not fear, care. He picked up his phone. He stared at her name. Then he put it down. He trusted her. He had to, the next morning. She returned. But she wasn't alone. She walked in holding a canvas. Tall, wide, wrapped in paper. Her eyes were tired, but shining. "I painted something," she said. Keanu stood slowly. She unwrapped the canvas and turned it around. It was a picture of him, not perfect, not detailed, but true. His eyes were half-shadowed, half-lit. A man in the middle of change. Behind him, a wall was cracking. And through that crack, golden light poured in. Keanu stared at it, unable to speak. Anna stepped closer. "This is how." "I see you," she whispered. "Not broken, just waking up." He blinked back tears. "You made this for me?" "I made it because of you," she said. He touched the edge of the canvas. "It's beautiful." "So are you," she said. He looked at her. "Stay. I want to. Then do." And so she did. The next weeks were slow and quiet, like a song being written note by note. Keanu wrote every day. Anna painted. Sometimes they did nothing, just existed in the same space, breathing together. One night, Keanu found an old box of photos. He opened it with shaking hands. Anna sat beside him. They looked through them together. Childhood birthdays, movie sets, friends long gone, moments forgotten. He found a photo of his sister. She was smiling wide, holding up a cake with too many candles. She hated birthdays, Keanu said, but she smiled anyway. John replied. He laughed, a small one. She always did. "You look like her," Anna whispered. "I miss her, I know." Anna rested her head on his shoulder. "I think she'd be proud of you." Keanu looked down at the photo. "I hope so." One evening, they sat on the balcony watching the lights of the city. Anna turned to him. "What now?" I don't know, Keanu said, but I'm not scared to find out. Me neither. Thank you, he said again. Anna looked at him. For what? For walking with me. Always. He reached for her hand. They sat in silence, not because they had nothing to say, but because some things didn't need words anymore. But just when everything seemed peaceful, something changed. Anna received a letter, a job offer, a big one, another country, another film. 3 months, she looked torn. I want to stay, she said. Then stay, he whispered. But this is something I dreamed of. Keanu looked at her. His heart ached, but he knew. Then go, Anna hesitated. What if the silence comes back? While I'm gone, Keanu smiled. Then I'll wait for you. I'll keep writing. She cupped his face gently. I'm scared. So am I. Will we be okay? We already are. They said goodbye at the airport. No drama, no tears. Just a long hug, a promise in silence, as she walked away. Keanu stood still, and for the first time, felt strong alone. Not because he didn't need her, but because she helped him remember he still needed himself. That night, he wrote something new, not about pain, not about loss, but about beginning. He titled it, The Girl Who Brought the Light. And he knew, deep down, it was only the middle of the story. When the light flickers weeks, past like leaves falling quiet, slow but sure, Keanu kept writing every morning. He sat by the window, the cracked glass still in place, the sky shifting beyond it. His journal filled page after page. Some days, his words flowed like a river. Other days they came out like drops. But he didn't stop. He wrote letters to Anna too. He never sent them. He just folded them carefully and placed them in a wooden box she had once admired. The letters were filled with small things, what he ate, what he dreamed, what made him laugh. Little memories, little truths. Sometimes he missed her so much it felt like a hole in his chest. Not sharp, not loud, just hello. But he had learned something. Missing someone doesn't mean you're broken. It means you remember. It means you loved. And love, he was learning, was not weakness. It was proof you were still alive. One rainy afternoon, he visited a bookstore, a small quiet place with creaky floors and a cat that didn't care for company. He wasn't looking for anything, but he found something. A book on grief. He pulled it from the shelf, sat in the corner. Inside were short stories, reflections, notes from people who had lost too much and somehow kept walking. He read for an hour. Then another a sentence caught him and wouldn't let go. Grief is not the absence of love. It is the proof of it. He closed the book and held it against his chest. She would have liked this, he thought. That night, he had a dream. He was standing in a white room again, like before, but this time, he wasn't alone. His sister stood across from him, older than she ever got to be. She didn't speak, she just smiled. And behind her, light poured in through the window. Bright and full, Keanu woke up with tears on his face, but they weren't heavy. They felt clean, like rain washing away something old. One morning, his phone buzzed. Anna calling. He stared at the screen for a moment, then answered, "Hello." His voice was softer than he expected. "I'm coming back," she said, breathless. His heart skipped. "When tonight?" "I got off early. I needed to see you." He laughed. "A real one. I was hoping you'd say that. Did you miss me?" "Every day." "Did you write? More than ever?" "Then I want to read it." He waited for her at the station. People rushed past him. Luggage, voices, movement everywhere. But he stood still. His eyes scanned every face. And then there she was, tired, radiant, real. She dropped her bag and ran into his arms. He held her, like he would never let go. She pulled back and touched his face. "You look different," she said. "Maybe I am." "Good," she smiled. "So am I." They walked back together, no rush. No words, just the comfort of steps side by side. Back at his place, he gave her the box of letters. Anna opened one. Reed smiled. "Cried you remembered everything," she whispered. "I had to," he said. You were the only thing that made sense. I'm proud of you. Proud of us. She leaned into him. Let's go somewhere tomorrow, she said. Where? Somewhere loud. Somewhere full of life. He raised an eyebrow, really. Yes. We hid long enough. The next day, they went to a street market, colors, music, smells of spice, and smoke. Keanu tensed at first, but Anna grabbed his hand and led him through the crowd like a lighthouse. They bought flowers. Ate fried dumplings. Listened to a man sing love songs in Spanish. Anna pulled him into a dance circle. He resisted. She insisted, and so. Under the open sky, surrounded by strangers, Keanu Reeves danced badly, joyfully, and he laughed so hard he couldn't breathe. Anna kissed him in the middle of the crowd. People clapped. Keanu blushed. Anna smiled. You're free, she whispered. But healing is not a straight road. One night, the silence came back. Not as strong. Not as dark, but it came. Keanu sat at the table, staring at his page. Blank. His hand shook. Anna noticed. Talk to me, she said. I can't. Yes, you can. What if it all falls apart again? Anna walked over and sat beside him. Then we rebuild it together. He looked into her eyes. You mean that? I do. Even if I fall again. Especially if you fall again. He leaned into her, and for the first time that week, he let the tears come. Anna held him. No rush, no shame, just love. A few days later, Keanu visited his sister's grave. Anna walked with him but gave him space. He knelt down, placed a small flower on the stone, and whispered, I'm okay now. Not perfect, not fixed, but okay. He looked up at the sky. I hope you're proud. A breeze passed through the trees, soft as a sigh. He stood, walked back to Anna, and took her hand. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. That evening, Keanu opened a fresh page in his journal. He began writing a new story, not about grief, not about silence, but about becoming, about waking up, about choosing love, even when it hurts. And when he finished the first paragraph, he looked at Anna and said, This one's for us. The reason to believe a year had passed, not quickly, not smoothly, but it had passed, and Keanu Reeves was no longer hiding behind closed curtains or cracked windows. He was living, truly living. Each day still came with its own weight, but he had learned how to carry it, not alone, not in silence, but with strength, and with her. Anna sat across from him at a cafe, sipping her coffee slowly, the sunlight catching her hair. Do you remember the first time I came to your apartment? She asked. Keanu smiled. You brought croissants. Said I looked terrible. You did? Thanks, he laughed. But you're beautiful now. He blushed and looked down at his hands. No, she corrected gently. You were beautiful then too. You just didn't see it yet. He looked at her, eyes soft. I see it now. Anna reached across the table and took his hand. I'm glad. That evening, Anna took him to a gallery. He didn't know what to expect when they stepped inside. His breath caught. On the walls were paintings, dozens of them. Colors, shapes, feelings, memories. And in the center, single canvas. His face, not like the last one. This one was lighter, stronger. His eyes were open. Bright. Behind him, the light had broken through the cracks completely. No more shadows. The name of the exhibit was written in soft letters on the wall. Becoming Whole by Anna de Armas stood frozen. You did all this? He whispered. Anna nodded. Each one is a step. Your journey. Our journey. Around them, admiring the work, talking quietly. But Keanu heard none of it. He turned to her. Why me? Anna looked at him, her eyes deep and warm. Because you reminded me what kindness looks like. Because even when you had nothing left, you still listened. And because you didn't push me away, even when it would have been easier. Keanu felt the tears again, but this time he didn't hold them back. You saved me. No, Anna said. You saved yourself. I just kept the light on. In the months that followed, they built a life together. Simple, gentle, true. Some days were still hard. There were still echoes of pain, moments of quiet sorrow, but they met those days with grace. They traveled to small towns, cooked messy meals, laughed at the dog they rescued together, a clumsy, one-eyed mutt they named Lucky. They wrote stories together. Anna painted. Keanu wrote music again. They didn't chase fame or spotlight. They chased moments, and they caught them. On a cool autumn evening, Keanu stood on a stage for the first time in years, not for a movie, but for a reading. He held his journal, worn and soft with use. The crowd waited, quiet and full. Anna sat in the front row, hands folded, eyes locked on him. Keanu cleared his throat and began. His voice was steady, warm. Each word was a thread, weaving the story of a man who once disappeared into silence and found his voice in the kindness of another. He read about the cracked window, the broken sleep, the oranges, the painting, the dance, the goodbye, the return, the growth, and finally, the reason to believe again when he finished. There was silence, then applause. But Keanu only looked at Anna. She stood, walked to him, and in front of everyone. She wrapped her arms around him. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. "We did this," he replied. Years later, they would tell their story again and again, not because it was perfect, but because it was true. They told it to friends, to strangers, to anyone who needed to hear that falling doesn't mean the end. They built a small foundation to support people battling quiet pain. It was called the Quiet Light. It became a home for artists, writers, and lost souls looking for hope. Keanu and Anna never claimed to have all the answers. They just offered space and love, and the reminder that silence can be broken, one word at a time. On a morning like any other, Keanu wrote his final journal entry in the book that started it all, too. "The one who saw me when I couldn't see myself. You gave me back my voice. But more than that, you gave me back me. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for being my light. I believe again. It's because of you." He closed the journal. Anna walked in holding a cup of tea. She handed it to him and kissed the top of his head. "What did you write?" Keanu smiled. "Just a thank you." She sat beside him. "For who?" He looked at her, his eyes full of everything they'd lived through. "For you,"